their stories.
100%.
Like, people forget that you really get into it. You're like, oh, I want to tell them I'm a property investor, right? Yes, you are, but say, look, what are you traveling? Or do you travel here a lot? Or do you go to this shop a lot? Or, you know, these type of conversations, and that would get them to talk to you, and they will like you. And that is one of the key principles of building trust.
So one thing that you touched on, if you don't mind me sort of taking it back, is you mentioned there that even when you're in an airport lounge, even when you're sat next to someone in a plane, whether it's someone that you meet, like I said, local or otherwise, that they're potential investors, right? Now, this is often overlooked and sometimes forgotten. Like, I'm guilty of it. Like, when you say to me, like, I found an investor abroad, I don't know why, I just think to myself, a guy with like a yacht, slick suit, sunglasses on, that's what I feel like the profile fits when you say to me, like, there's an investor abroad. But are they like that? Or when you're talking to investors who have got money in different countries, are they just like down to earth guys that just look like me and you, or what are they like?
So in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of other investors and property investors and entrepreneurs would agree, an investor's profile, he can look like anyone. So he doesn't have to have a yacht to have money. A lot of people don't go and show off their money. You know, you have this image from TV and from movies or wherever. I can talk from my experience that most of my investors I come from, they don't have yachts, they don't have slick suit, they're just like normal person like me and you. You know, they have money in the bank account, they don't publicly go tell people. They're one of those, a lot of people like to just keep their finances secret or don't talk about it so much, but when they build that trust and a rapport with you, they will invest in you, right? So a lot of my investors essentially came that way. So when I've traveled abroad, I would just tell people what I do, build a relationship. Like, I don't want nothing out of it. You know, you don't go and look for what I want out of it. I would just become your friend if I like you, or if I want to build a friendship with you, because I'm usually traveling around or in part of a group. And, you know, wherever I go, I'm just like a chatty person. I like to socialize. And that leads into some of them becoming my investors, essentially. Yeah. So I would go in and say, look, this is what I do. What do you do? What's your lifestyle? Do you travel a lot? Do you come here? And essentially that leads into becoming an investor. And they look like a normal person wearing a shorts and just having a drink or just hanging around in the same places that I'm hanging around. And most places I hang around with they're just medium level places or what you want to call it, hostels, or not 5-star hotels. So there's your answer to that. I can give you an example for that. What's happened to me, the first investor was actually someone that I met in Thailand, on a remote island, whilst I was traveling for a month and a half in different places, and he was staying in the same hostel as me, where like people who stayed in hostels, they would know hostels are like usually they £8 a night, £7 a night, 7-8 people in the room. You know, I was with 7-8 people in the room, and one of the guys was traveling for a month or so. He had a good job, and him and his friend were investors. And essentially, we shared our stories. Came back to UK. He was from UK, and he said, "Oh, Adam, I remember you talking to me about it in December. Can we have a telecon? Can we have a teleconference to discuss this?" And essentially, from there, rest is history. You know, he became our first investor, and successful joint venture we ended up creating through that.